Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. How are you doing today? I hope it's a good day. And today I thought I'd have a play with one of the new stamps. I'm going to try and be really good, not use all of them because obviously I know they've only just come out, but I can't resist sharing a little bit of inspiration with you. And the one I'm going to use today is this beautiful wishing post. Now, Tracy listens and she's been asked, quite a few people have asked for a mailbox, a posting box. And what I love is she's actually put her twist on it, not just drawn a normal post box, but created this one. So that, in my opinion, it will go with so many stamps that you've already got. And I just think it's so magical. And in my head, you know I love to use the cheeky mice and they just love acrobatics and standing on each other, and I couldn't resist creating this design look. Now I'm not sure if these guys just posted a letter, are they trying to see if there's something inside? I mean, I did think you could put a robin on top, you could hang something from here, you could put a little letter. I mean, there is so much you can do. Now the wishing post, when you stamp, this little space is empty. And Tracy's given us a set of stamps called Mailbox names. And on it, we've got Christmas, so it would be Christmas mail. You've got snail, fairy, magic and happy. So, you know, just say somebody was a bit down, you could even put happy mail. So that you're actually sending them some happy post to cheer them up. I know you clever lot. You're going to be thinking of so many ideas that you can use. So this is what I thought I'd have a play with today. And I'm going to start with a piece of A5 cardstock. Now, I have tried this and it will actually fit. I know you like to know sizes. Now, the stamp itself is 4 3/4. So it would fit on an A6 because I know some of you like making your smaller designs. So that's handy for you. Now, the card I'm using is from this pack. And again, just to point out, if you didn't know, Lavinia sell a pack that's got A5, A6 and 7x7. So it's gives you, quite useful if you're not sure what size. It gives you a few to choose from. I tend to use it because I've got to be honest, I never know what size I'm going to do. Sometimes you have an idea and then other times I just, start creating and something happens. Now, all the stamping today I'm going to do in the black. So again, a few of you have been in touch and said you haven't managed to get many Versafine Clair ink pads yet. So, we try and listen. So I thought if I come in and just use the black, the Nocturne for this. Now, there's a lot of detail in this stamp. So I'm giving it nice light tapping. And I'm just going to come in and pop it about there. And again, give it a good press. As I say, there is a lot of beautiful detail. And then if we just lift that up, look, absolutely beautiful. I'll move it more into the middle. And then let's go for magic. I think this is magic mail. Now, this is the bit where you just have to pop your head over just to get it in that space. And it's not easy when you're recording, so I'm sure you'll make a much better job of it than me. So I'm thinking cheeky mice. Let's go first for Basil, because he's got his lamp and he really needs to show the rest of the cheeky mice. Speaking of cheeky mice, have you seen the new stamps? I mean, I was really good today. I thought I'm not going to use them for every single one. You got to be fair. So, and I think we've just got enough room to pop him here. Now, again, he's a silhouette. So you know what I'm going to say. Sorry to get, repetitive, but just give that ink time to soak in. There we go. And again, beautiful. So now I want to make my tower of cheeky mice. So in no particular order, we're just going to build them up. Now this is Minnie. And for me, Minnie always looks like she should be at the base. She's the one that's going to hold everybody up. We all have a friend like Minnie, don't we? The one that holds everybody up, the one that's your grounding friend. That when something happens, that's the one you say, oh, what do I do? Or so, again, don't be in a rush. Lovely. And basically, I'm just going to stamp them one after another. And take your time. Don't be in a rush. Now this one, again, I've just got to try and stand above, which isn't easy when I'm recording. But you know what? I've got my black fine liner here. So if I miss a bit, we're just going to draw it on. And I'll say I've done it just to show you. You know, a bit like the other week when I dropped my ink pad, just to show you how to hide it. Well, camouflage. We're like magicians, aren't we? Right, now this one, this is tricky because, do you know, I don't know why, but I thought I'd see if I could put one mouse's foot on the other one's hand. Now, nothing like trying to see if you can do something live, is there? I don't want to lift the stamp up. What if I've missed? Don't worry, you've got your black fine liner. See, you always need that little voice just to... That was a stroke of luck, wasn't it? Look at that, we've actually got... Right, one more. This is our cheeky chappy at the top. Right, so he's going to go, and if we've angled it right, he might actually just have his hand or paw on the mailbox. There we go. So we've actually got our lovely tower, and as I say, are we putting in, taking out? Just remember to give it a good blot. Just because that Versafine Clair, slower drying ink, you know, we don't want to smudge it when we've held our breath for each of those bits of stamping. Now, my theory here is what I'm going for here is very much a monochromatic design. So it's very much going to be sort of black, white and grey, but I am going to add a little bit of pink just to liven it up a bit. So that's most of the stamping done for the minute, and I'm going to come in with graphite and a little bit of confetti. So we'll start with the graphite and we'll bring in the moon mask. And as always, I'm just going to turn it upside down just because I find that a better way. Because when I use the ink, get my stencil brush, blend on the lid, I'm going to ink at the base first. Now, if that comes out too dark, because my ink's too dark, at least it'll just look like shadow. So that's why I just get in the habit of turning it upside down. But we'll just add some. Mine's a well-used graphite ink pad. So I'm going to move that off and just turn it round and have a look. And I like that, that's just enough colour. So I'll just blend a little bit more, just in the middle here. I'm not worried about it going right out to the edges. So next, I'm just going to get my hill masks, which I've just dropped on the floor next to Eric. Sorry, mate. The slippy things, you see, they do have a habit. They can just slide. And I just want to add a little bit of grounding just under our cheeky chaps here. So I'm just going to put a little bit there, little bit there, and a little bit there. And then what I am going to do is actually, normally I know we would do the landscape and the snow, but when I'm doing it this way, I find it easier to do the sky first, because the sky is going to be my grey area. And I like to almost mimic that shape of the moon. I think it looks nice. But also you've got to make sure, check this bit, that it's not decapitating any of our mice. So we'll just whiz along there and add that nice shape in the sky. And as I say, that for me just looks nice echoing that shape. But here I just need a little bit extra. Something that almost, because we're going to have snow, but if it's too white it doesn't look right. It just looks nice to have a little bit, again, no decapitating here. We'll just have a couple of areas where it's almost just got a bit of a flurry. Maybe just a hint of there. And we'll call that a day, and I'll wipe those in a minute. I'll file them back on the floor next to Eric. But what I am going to do is, when it's, and this is very grey, but for me, when it sort of snows, the sky almost turns slightly pinky or a bit purpley, so a little bit of confetti. And I'm just going to start in this corner. And gently, gently, I'm really holding this brush loose. And I'm just going to add a bit in the corner and then just come across the moon. So it almost looks like a, and it is very gentle. Do make sure you blend in the lid. So we don't want streaks, we just want that nice idea that we've got that pinky tinge in the sky, look. No streaking here, ladies and gents. And it's very gentle. Now what happens on the snow, you get a reflection almost of that colour of the sky. So I'm not going to ink up because I'll have enough ink on my brush. And I just want that sort of idea. And just some across the bottom. Let's pop the lid on there. And then we won't be tempted to ink up. And that just reflects, can you see? Probably won't show up very good. You know I'm not good at my camera work. And it just gives you that lovely pinky tinge, which for me just helps it sort of look like it's that snowy, Christmassy sky. So colouring, I've gone for pencils 1, 3, 34, 35, 36 and 131. So the pink, I'm going to add a pink front door because I just think it brings in that nice pink from the sky. And I don't want a lot of colour on this, so I'm very lightly. Now these I'm just going to colour, and I'm not adding any water. You can, obviously, watercolour pencils. These are my Modulars watercolour pencils, but I'm just going to use mine as actual almost colouring pencils. So, and I just want it quite pale, just to keep the sort of grey tones. And I'm being mindful to lean on my kitchen roll, just so I don't get any marks on my card. Because again, with having white areas of snow, we don't want marks. And it's not a good one to add a butterfly, is it? So, and it's nice when you look at the tones of grey you get in your pencils. And I've just come in and make that a bit darker under there. Just, you see how that gives that a bit more impact, a bit more oomph. And then again. And I just felt grey for a change. I mean, sometimes when we get stamps, you know, it's like this, I can see it in browns, and you know I love vintage. And I thought, I don't want to always use brown. I use brown a lot, and I thought, no, let's go with a different colour tone. And again, I can just bring in these middle bits here, look, add a bit more black. There we go. Just so it gives us that nice sort of vibe. And with the white, I'm just going to come in and use that as a blend on the yellow here. Just clean it, and then on the, yes, happy with that. So I'm going to leave that for the minute, because what I'm going to do is come in with my pastel pencils. And what I'm thinking is just adding some little highlights. Again, just to give a little bit of detail. Now, I am going to add a little bit with my Signo pen. And again, I know a lot of you like using your pen. So however you want to add your white highlights. The pen scares me, to be honest. I find I can get away with more if I use my pastel pencils. But again, it's all about, we all use what we feel comfortable with, don't we? I'm just a big coward, me. Oh, look, put this one at the bottom. Saying, come on, hurry up. And why did I say yes? And then on this side, so again, just to give him a bit of shape with his legs, and then a bit of reflection on his tummy. And then what I will do is I want to add some yellow from the lamp here. But what I found is when I add the yellow, because again, I'm almost a bit sort of, got to be honest, scared of it going wrong. What I find is if I use the white to fuzzy the edge, it almost makes it look like it's that glow. And if I try and draw a definite circle, an edge to that glow, I'm always conscious that I've not done it right. Is that just me? I hope not. I hope there's a few of you that sort of, you know, these things do scare me. So I just find if I put my white pencil over that yellow, it gives me a better glow. And while I've got these, I'm going to come in with the grey, and I'm going to give myself some shadow here from this, and it'll be sort of this way a little bit. And then the same with the mice. And I know we've got snow, but we'd still have that bit of shadow, wouldn't we? Don't want to overdo it. But I've got my gold, my lovely metallic uniball pen here. And what I'm thinking is just round the mailbox here, I can add a nice bit of gold, and the door handle, just to sort of make it pop a little. Now, when I got to this stage, I liked it, but I thought there was just something missing. So if I show you the two together, because you could stop. If you're happy and you want to stop, you stop with this design. Might be you want to stamp snowflakes, it might be you want to add, but I just fancied something in the corners. And I went for the holly stamp. And it's not the mini holly, it's the main holly. But like I say, it's lovely to show you where you could stop should you wish. But I just found that 3 in this just added that. It just needed that something extra. Now, it might be you want to use the mistletoe. That might be where the mice are climbing up. You know, whatever your mice get up to. Might be you want to frame, almost do more of an arch around the top. I just have a thing about diagonals and corners. But that's the beauty, because you're creating the design. We're all different. And you can take any little aspect of the design you wish. And that's what's lovely. That's why I love the fact that we share so much, and we, right, just need that there. Now, I'm just going to give that a blot, because I don't want to smudge those corners. Because what I'm going to do is colour those berries and colour them in pink. Now, I know you're going to say to me, Jo, holly has red, mistletoe has white. Well, these are magical berries, and these are pink to go with the pink door. Because don't forget, this is magic mail. So if we've got magic mail, we've got magic berries as well. Do you know what? If they were magic, they'd colour themselves, wouldn't they? That's what I'm thinking. Be no fun though, would it? And this is why I only stamped at the top and the bottom and not in all 4 corners. So let's have a look. Now I'm going to come in with my white signal. And again, just to add a few little highlights. Now, if it's not working, a little tip, I just put mine on the back. There we go. That's working now. And I find for me, as you know, as I keep saying, I'm a bit scared of this, but I just find if I add it, just a few little bits, because I've got the pastel underneath, I almost find it more forgiving. But again, that could just be me. So don't need to add it on everything. But what does look nice is if you put a little highlight in the berries. Now you could use your posca for this. It's quite funny, I've noticed when I colour my berries, I seem to do a circular motion and almost leave a white area. Now with my black micron pen, I'm just going to add a couple of these so it looks like the mice are doing a bit of a juggling act, look, that they're trying to keep, so it gives them a bit of movement, a nice bit of movement, which I think looks lovely. So a couple of finishing, and again, you could leave it like that if you want, but I fancy a bit of snow. So I'm going to come in with my Stardust, my Stickles. Now, as you know, this can be a bit rude. So I tend to put myself some on my mat. And then this is an empty Wink of Stella brush, but I use it for my Stickles. And it just means I can come in and paint the Stickles exactly where I want it. Because I find it just spits at my work if I'm not careful. Can be a bit of a tinker. So I'm just putting a little bit on the roof, so we've got a nice bit of sparkly snow or frost on the roof, and we've got a little bit that's just caught in there, and then under here. And what you'll also find is this will dry quicker as well, because you get a nice fine, you don't get it too thick, and the good thing is your Stickles will last longer. Because at Christmas, I don't know about you, but I like a nice bit of sparkly Stickles. And I'm just going to use every bit off here. So I'll maybe just put a little bit up the side there. And the beauty of this is, because these Wink of Stella brushes are fabulous, just put the lid on. I know it's my Stickles one, and I don't need to clean it. It'll be perfect. That'll be ready to go next time I colour with my Stickles. Wipe that up. And then lastly, some Posca Snow. Now, what I've discovered as well, and you're probably going to tell me you've already known this and I've only just discovered it, I'm going to pop my Posca Snow on to show you. But sometimes, because it's acrylic paint and we've got a dye-based ink, the ink almost absorbs the Posca, so it won't look as white until this is dry. So I could either use my heat tool, but what I tend to do is put myself some Posca Snow on. And again, I'm just going round over the holly, in the sky, trying to avoid the mice. I don't really want to cover the mice in snow. I'll have a little bit round the door though. And what I'll do is I'll call it a day there. But I will come back later when this is dry and add a little bit more. So I almost do it in 2 layers. I put one lot on, let it dry, and then come back in and add some more. And for me, I just find that works better with my Posca. If you've got any hints and tips with your Posca, please share them, because we love to share each other's ideas. So there we have the 2. And I'm thinking, as I say, if you wanted a smaller version, you could comb this down and make yourself a lovely A6 card. I mean, you know, if you're sending it to a friend and you know the house number, maybe put the house number on. Maybe a little bit of a Christmas wreath, holly on the roof. Oh, do you know, I just know you're going to have so many ideas. And I really can't wait to see what you come up with. So you enjoy playing, enjoy sharing, and please keep commenting on each other's work. It's lovely when you comment on each other's, and it's just so nice to make somebody's day by leaving them a lovely comment. So you take care, everybody. I'm off now. Time to go and feed and walk Eric. Love and hugs from me. Thanks for popping in. Bye for now.